Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
I always say if there's an update to a story, I will update you. I am here now to update you to a story. Both Patrick and Michael sent me notes overnight and said, Steve, there's an update to the story out of Mooresville. A while back, I told you that a town grabbed some money from a guy, and when he went to get it back, they said, we can't give it back to you. It's been sent to the feds. Go talk to them about it. And so they filed a lawsuit locally, and a local judge looked at the town and said, you took the money, give it back. And they said, well, we gave it to the feds yesterday. And they'd clearly done that to avoid giving the guy's money back. And so the judge had said back then, he goes, well, here's the deal. I'm going to order you to return the money. And if you don't, you'll be in contempt of court. So the town filed an appeal of that. That's why it took so long to get you an update. The appeal didn't work. So they found themselves back in front of the same judge recently. You don't want to get back in front of a judge who said, basically, if I see you again, you'll be held in contempt. So this is the headline from the Mooresville Tribune. Taylor Jedrzejek wrote it. Judge again holds town of Mooresville in civil contempt over failure to return cash. You might say, Steve, how do they throw the whole town in jail? Oh, it ain't the whole town, but they can throw people in jail. The town of Mooresville, after having their motion for dismissal denied Monday, is once again being held in civil contempt of court for failing to return nearly $17,000 to a man who had the money seized during an investigation. The district judge, who is an American hero, presided over the hearing that in February, the initial contempt order was issued, ruled that the appeal filed by the town of Mooresville was untimely and led to a jurisdictional failure. There are timeframes within which you must appeal, based on what you're appealing. So apparently, civil contempt must be appealed according to the rules of civil cases. And they didn't do that, says the judge. So the attorney representing the man whose money was stolen called the ruling a big win, not only for the man, but for the future precedent of similar monetary seizure cases. The attorney said, this is the court reaffirming again that the town of Mooresville and the Mooresville Police Department need to return my client's money. We've litigated this issue 4 times, and the court has said that the seizure was illegal. The judge stated that the town of Mooresville will have 7 days from the official ruling of the order to comply and return the money, or the court will consider issuing orders to arrest the town manager of Mooresville and the chief of police. Once the appeal was dismissed, we were left with the underlying order from February, the attorney said, and the underlying order calls for orders to arrest anyone that has the ability to comply with the order to return the man's money. So the judge back in February said, I'm ordering this money to be returned. Somebody apparently asked a rhetorical question, what happens if we don't? I'm going to start holding people in contempt. They said, we're going to appeal that order, Your Honor. And they appealed it, and the appeal didn't work. So they find themselves back at square one, where the judge is saying, give the man his money back, or people are being held in contempt. So this stems from a search done on a vehicle belonging to the man back in November. Inside the vehicle, which the man was not in at the time, the police department found less than a half ounce of marijuana, along with $16,000 in cash. Okay, he didn't give them permission to search the vehicle. They simply encountered the vehicle, and they just searched it on their own. The man was cited for a misdemeanor for the marijuana possession, but since the cash that was in the car was not tied to the criminal charges in any way, shape, or form, the judge ordered Mooresville to return the money to the man on November 24th. The town argued that Mooresville was not a party to the case because the plaintiff in the case was listed as State of North Carolina. And so if you ever find yourself in a criminal setting, it often will say State of Michigan versus so-and-so. But the people who arrested you wouldn't necessarily be state troopers. It could have been local police. And so the fact that the police can bring charges on behalf of the state doesn't mean that they can't be held liable for what they do. You got to blame the state because, as the court says, this is disingenuous, stating the Mooresville Police Department was acting as agents of the state at the time of the seizure. So previously, the town had also argued they no longer had the money and therefore had no jurisdiction over its return because they'd already sent the money to the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, which they did the day before the hearing where the initial civil contempt order was filed. That argument was rejected. And so think of the nonsensical arguments they're making here. They've got the money. They know they're going to be ordered to give it back. So like a game of hot potato, they give it to somebody else. And then when the judge is giving the money back, you go, I gave it to them. One cool thing about money is, I'm going to use a big word here, it's fungible. Money is fungible, meaning that if I owe you $100, money's money. So if they took $17,000 from the guy, no one's saying you got to give him back that exact $17,000 cash. It's just money. You got money, right? You owe him 17 grand? Give him 17 grand. Oh no, the exact $17,000 we took from him, it's gone now. We can't return his money. What's a stupid argument? I mean, it's actually a stupid argument. So the word fungible literally means that something is of a nature that it doesn't matter which one you get, they're all the same. So barrels of oil are fungible. If you bought oil on the open market and somebody said, you bought a couple barrels of oil, you don't say, oh, I bought that one and I bought that. It's often referred to with respect to commodities. It's the most common usage of it. But money is fungible. So if the city's got money, give them some money. No, we don't have his money. It doesn't matter. It is unknown what further steps the town of Mooresville could take now to get the decision overturned by a higher court. What's cool about this is right now a lot of municipalities are going to start rethinking just grabbing money and just taking it, and then when you sue them, they just get rid of it. And here's the funny thing, and this right here is where the ironing gets delicious. Some people right now are wondering in the audience, and thank you for thinking like me. If Mooresville gave the money to the feds, and now they want it back, and they say to the feds, hey, can we have that money back? If the feds say no, could Mooresville sue the feds in an attempt to get the money back? And if they did, would the feds say, well, you got to prove to us that you're entitled to it? Burden of proof is on you now. Because we think the money was a product of ill-gotten gain. Little civil asset forfeiture, my friends. And since we are the last ones holding it, it's ours, unless you can prove otherwise. So it very well could be that if they wanted to, they could. They won't. They won't, because it's going to cost them more than $17,000 to recover. Isn't that ironic? So there's a lot of good stuff to unpack in this one. And it looks like it's a good ending. The man, I suspect, will get his money back about 3 minutes before the arrest warrants are issued. But right now, the judge is going to hold the town of Mooresville in civil contempt unless they return that man his $17,000. And if they don't return it, arrest warrants for the town manager and the chief of police. By the way, who do you send out to arrest the chief of police? That's another interesting jurisdictional question, at least. So this is good news. This is an update. I will probably have to do a third update somewhere down the road just to let you know how this happened. But it's just funny all the way around. So to summarize, to recap, the judge originally said, give the man his money back. They said, we don't have it anymore. Judge said, I don't care. They said, we're going to take it up on appeal, Your Honor. They took it up on appeal. They did it wrong. It came right back down. They're back at square one. Judge looks at him again, goes, going to give him his money back? We can't, Your Honor. Haven't got it anymore. Don't care. Someone's going to jail unless you scrape up 17 grand. Doesn't have to be his money, just any money. $17,000. Scrape it up and give it to the man. Right now, they're thinking about what they're going to do. And of course, people might start going to jail. If they wanted to be entertaining and keep entertaining us, the city of Mooresville really ought to sue the feds and try to get the money back. And then let's watch what happens, because that's when hilarity will ensue. When the feds look at them and go, prove to us you're entitled to it. So there you go. But it's a great story. Patrick and Michael, thanks for sending it. I'm sure I'll get a bunch more in the near future. Taylor Jedrzak wrote it for the Mooresville Tribune. Judge again holds the town of Mooresville in civil contempt over failure to return cash. That judge is an American hero. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. I went to the bookstore and asked the saleswoman, where's the self-help section? She said if she told me, it would defeat the purpose.